All right, we got a new little intro there for the old Astro Weather, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have that for the remainder of the holidays. Decided to change it up a little bit, just like Sunday Night Astro. I don't know if we had a. We do. We have the space, the acceleration into hyperspace. Sunday Night Astro Live. How was everybody? All 30 of you, brave souls who have gotten up in the somewhat early morning hours, especially people in California. That's a commitment, a dedication, and I thank you for being here. And for the rest of you, the same holds true. Uh, got some comments on the thumbnail. It's funny. AI doesn't always get things right. And it's a reminder. It's a reminder that it's an imperfect tool. Although I was watching a clip that somebody did on Sora not long ago, and you'd be really hard pressed to tell that it was fake. And the whole premise was Marilyn Monroe on the Starship Enterprise, the old school, with Spock, and she's rehearsing her lines, and she blows them, and her and Leonard Nimoy crack up. So it was wild because they both looked quite real, right? And she screwed up, and he laughed and had a funny comment. I'm like, this is really bizarre. I mean, this could have been an outtake from the original Star Trek series. So it wasn't. It wasn't perfect, right? So they had built in the imperfection, like the blowing of the line. And I wonder if AI is just more responsive to that in some ways. If you build the imperfection in, and that way it itself can be imperfect. Like some proportionality. Like there are certain thumbnails I've had where the proportionality is just off, right? Just completely off. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. It is a global consortium of people who are gathered together this morning in chat. Let's see, who do we have? The lovely and talented one, Josie's Jazzy Junk, Bebby Rebozo, one of Nixon's favorite peeps. Diane Evans is here. Hi, Diane. Misbehaving. 2. We'll drop the 633. PB, what's happening, PB? The tree in the roof is A6G aerial. Yeah, they've perfected that in AI, where the aerials actually really look like trees instead of fake trees. That's right. Janine is here. Hey, Janine. Are you still basking in the afterglow of your solar return? I hope so. Let's see. Amy. Amy's here. What's happening, Amy? We got another little doe in the backyard. And it's the second doe sighting. Hello, doe. Hello, doe. It's almost like the Matrix, like it's taking the same path that the other doe took. I guess maybe that's what they do. They follow each other's scent. Isn't that right? Let me see if I can get these jingle balls looking better. I think we're almost there. We get them over the collar line. There we go. There we go. That looks a little more, I don't know, together. I was watching this Warriors post-game show, and there's this guy on there. He's the host. He spent the majority of the show trying to fix his hair. I thought, man, this is a little OCD, dude. If the hair is giving you so much problems, or so just wear a cap. Let's see. We got Belkel. What's happening, Belkel? Moira at NYC. JJ Rain the Block. Hey, listen, JJ, put your website up there. if people are looking for a perhaps up to the wire gift of fine jewelry, JJ is your person. So JJ, why don't you put your website in the chat box, and I'll put it up here on the screen for people. David Flores, 26. Hey, David. Look, let's see. Centaur Truther. How nice. Only moderators can put up a website. Oh, all right, let me find it. JJ Rain de Blanc. Let's get her. Let's see. Here it is, right here. We have such a talented group of people right here. I'm putting that up. And there it is. Rain de Blanc brand. It is in the chat comments, and it is there for the entire world to see. So raindeblancbrand.com. Let's put it up there. Let's see some of JJ's offerings. Oh, look at those. Look at those beauties. Hey, look at that. I got it right there. The Tidal Oracle ring. Look at that. Beautiful. You can get one of these. Let's see. Look at all those fine pieces. Big. Oh, you can't. It's always, I hate this shit. Sorry. It's always the first one. Always the first burn. It is always the first burn. Let's try it again. Try it again. There we go. That's what I'm talking about right there. The Tidal Oracle ring. Right there. I don't want to flip you off. But that's I'm rocking JJ on my right hand. And then I'm rocking my father on my left hand. There we go. And I've got gold on the left hand path, and silver on the right hand path. It should probably be the other way around, but I think the rings fit better this way. That's what I think. Anyway, check her out. If you're looking for a special holiday gift for your peeps, got a whole host of stuff in different budgets. There's JJ's book. The Rudolf Steiner inspired Rose Cross. Look at that. Man, good stuff. Buffalo nickel ring. Look at that. Very cool. All right. So a little bit of love for a fellow Chattarian. Glenda Davies is checking in from Wales. Let's see, who else do we have here? Just let my stove getting colder over here in the UK after so much rain. When I was over there for the brief period of time that I always looked forward to tea and scones. That was one of my favorite things in that part of the world. The tea and the scone. All right, let's go back through here. Let's see. So the Christmassy intro, that was from the Johnson City annual Festival of Light. And I just decided to do something with it. Makeda Soul of Sheba. It's Magic Cat with a new moniker. How about that? Nicole DePaulo's here. Hello, Nicole. Lena Winkler. This is the necklace It actually lights up. You really can't see it. I wish it was a little more. Well, for some reason, it doesn't really light up, and it jingles. Keeps away the spirits, the bad spirits. The bad spirits are here. I just jingle them out. Let's see. Who else we have? Neil Smith, the big cheese. There's Glenda from Cardiff, Wales. Love it. Julie Sunshine, 333, freezing. It's that time of year. Amy Gill with the Indiana Sunrise. Little glowworm. Hey, hey, hey. Lisa Ann White. The Law. Paula Bizak. She's all Bizak up in this Hizak. Let's see. Who else we have? Maya Rose. Hi, Maya. Sweet Woodruff from Plano. You made it. Yeah, we were talking about your father's water system here Saturday at the senior holiday event, which is always cool. It's always a hoot talking with people 20 years older than me, doing 3-mile hikes each day. Pretty inspiring. Oh no, we had Doggy pass away with Glenda, sudden decline. We say on the show the moment was going to be hard on pets. My dog Jack was nearly 18. Oh, good life. 18 is a good run, especially if they're relatively healthy those last couple of years. I would say most dogs are somewhere between 10 and 13 years. It's a decade. That's a long time. Long time. Let's see. Your hair is still here. Still there, only on the sides. No need to check on the top anymore. Well, it's one less thing you have to do. Take it off your list. You can devote that time to something else. Let's see. We see nothing. We took care of that. Thanks, KK. There we go. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I say she's reasonably priced as well, for sure. Tara Jetson. You know what was? I tell you, they really missed the opportunity to have a Jetsons Flintstones crossover. But didn't Gazoo also show up in the Flintstones? Am I on another timeline here? Remember the great Gazoo? Didn't he come from the future to be a part of the Flintstones? There needed to be a Jetsons Flintstone crossover mashup. That's what I think. And then Fred, Fred could show up as the noble, the beast, the noble savage, and Joan Jetson would find his animal magnetism attractive and much more manly than George Jetson's super evolved space age thin rail body, right, which has evolved through time. And then it could have been a real crisis. She could have left George Jetson for Fred Flintstone, and that would have posed real problems. And then having to take Joan Jetson back to the Stone Age. I don't think Joan Jetson would like the Stone Age. She'd like Fred because of Fred's more animalistic, primal nature. But I think life in the Stone Age would be a drag for Joan. It's going to be 80 today in Palm Desert. Nice. I like a goof tournament better. I like a goof tournament. I think didn't Monty Python do the Idiot Olympics? They did a very, very politically incorrect Olympics for, how do I use the term politely? Retards. I think that was the premise of one of their shows. So that would be the Goof Olympics. Let's see. He actually likes experiencing the snow. I'm telling you, man, snow on the East Coast during the holidays is magical. When I was married, my ex had relatives that lived in Massachusetts and Vermont. So we would spend Christmas in Vermont. I always looked forward to it. You know, I mean, it was a hassle traveling with a kid and a bunch of luggage and everything. But, you know, once you got there, it was fine. And we'd be there for about 5 or 6 days. And yeah, always had a great time. There was snow there. I mean, what's to not to like, right? Hanging out. And the people were pretty cool, I would say. I had limited kind of, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Limited levels of connectability. I had to throttle back a lot, but I always seem to get into trouble. Let's see. Ratchet Boot, what's happening? If I was playing golf, it would be a goof tournament. That's funny. Steve, Thornton Doors here. What's going on, Steve? Barbara Boots just finished her Christmas letter opus. Wow, that's impressive. 18 years is a good life for a pup, for sure. They did a crossover episode. Did they really? Was there? Because if they didn't, that would have been gold. They did do a crossover, and the little alien guys, and so that's what I thought. I remember Gazoo showing up in a Flintstones episode. So they did do a crossover. There they go. Okay. The Great Gazoo. There's a player in the NFL that looks like the Great Gazoo with his helmet, Lad McConkey. There was a gent. So there was. You guys are up on it. 1987. See, the people who are remembering this now are past. Like when I was watching I'm belying my age here, but when I was watching the Flintstones and the Jetsons, they did not cross over. That's a different timeline. That's like on the Mandela effect timeline. So you 1987 folks, you have it covered. The Little Green Martian, my favorite Martian. That shows that's fucking funny. Well, some of us visited while we were working real jobs. I gotta say, that's fucking funny. That is fucking funny. BB had a crush on Betty Rubble. I can see that. Betty was kind of cute. She was kind of cute. We watched Gumby the other day. We watched Gumby go to other planets. We watched some Art Clokey Gumby material. It's Jane Jetson. Thank you. We got to keep that correct. Jane Jetson. It's been a while. My dad looked like Fred Flintstone. Fred Flintstone always had 3-day stubble. You ever notice that? He always had 3-day stubble. That was that animal kind of caveman magnetism. Of course, with his caveman tie. Let's see. Jane. Yeah, Jane Jetson. Remember that show with that robot girl? I remember the robot maid. Wasn't that on the Jetsons as well, the robot maid? Quincy Mass checking in. Man, I'm telling you, those New England Christmases, they're good. Man, Vermont and Maine, particularly Vermont in the wintertime, it's like a snow globe. It's magical. Really, really magical. And we got Ms. BC, beautiful eternal spring here in Cuenca, Ecuador. We got Ecuador checking in. How about that? If you are in Vermont and you go to Portsmouth, you have to go to the Portsmouth Brewery and have their clam chowder. It's the best clam chowder I've ever had. Elsbeth Herring. What's up, Elsbeth? Checking in from down under. Let's see. I just watched Chomps this weekend about a robot dog. They're on the way. Carolyn Wallace, what's happening, Carolyn? No love for Alf. Alf was after my time. I stopped watching TV in the 80s. I did. I stopped watching TV. All, the 80 shows, Simon and Simon, Magnum PI, Matt Houston, none of those shows. What was it? The one with Billy Bob Thornton? Something Shade. Didn't watch any of those shows. I tapped out on TV in the 80s. That was conscious. That was a conscious choice on my part. I read and listened to music. Let's see. Mary Grether. Hi, Mary. My favorite Martian. Ray Walston. Was there a show where Ursula Andress played a robot maid? I don't know, but she would make an awesome robot maid. Awesome. Ursula Andress. She married Harry Hamlin. They met on the set of Clash of the Titans. And I think she was in her 40s. And Harry Hamlin was like in his 20s. And they got married and they had a kid together. Like, he was serious. It wasn't just like some Hollywood romance. They tied the knot. They had a kid. He gave it a go. And this is when Harry Hamlin was just, I think he just graduated from Cal. He'd studied drama at Cal. And he got the lead as Perseus. Her peak was Dr. No. You could say her peaks was Dr. No. Okay. Enough of this dilly-dally I could spend, this is my social hour. I remember having a conversation not long ago with somebody, good friend, and they were talking about like support and people in your life, and like, don't you have any like support or friends out in Kerrville? And no, not really. And the reason why is because I have all of you. You're all my imaginary friends that are real, and in a not so imaginary way, because sometimes you pop into 3D, which is always an interesting experience. All right, so let's get in here. Okay, let's get into the now. Now. Before we do, we got to pay sponsor a little bit of love, because that's what we do around here. Just a little bit of love. And it's for the gifts from the Magi bundle, which comes from Silver-Botanicals, right here in Texas, down the road in San Marcos, where Ray and Dean, they're like the Simon and Garfunkel of nano silver. They have put together a holiday gift bundle just for you, with the gift of the Magi personal spray right at the center of it all. And it is formulated with essential oils that show up in the Bible, including monatomic gold. That's right. So instead of using all silver here. They have a little silver with some monoatomic gold. It's all there. We also have the Silver Tongue Oral Care, and here's a small travel size for it, right there. Boy, this is powerful stuff. When you're done swishing with this, whatever kind of nasties are living in there, you can feel that they're gone. I mean, literally, the taste is how do I say this? Minty and robust, peppery, minty, robust. It's really good. Also, you have the Total Body Skin Therapy Bath Additive over here on the other side. You got 2 baths out of that. The Botanical Sea Serum, which is great for your skin. The Silver Mist Humidifier, which you add to your nebulizer and your humidifier. The Silver Shield Deodorant, which is a spray-on. The Silver Shield Sanitizer, which is good because it has that nanified film that it leaves on your surface, not only just cleaning them, but protecting them. And also, as I mentioned earlier, Silver Tongue Oral Care. It's all there. And it's $79.94 for the entire bundle. You get free shipping from now through December 31st. So I don't know where they are in terms of getting it out for the holidays. I have to talk to Dean and Ray and find out when the holiday shipping window ends. If you just want one of their products, you can go in there and type in Astro Weather when you leave, and you'll get 10% off all of it. Silver-Botanicals, the link is in the description for the show. Okay, let's get back to the show. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. It's the Astro Weather cat. Part of her morning routine. She's got to sit in on the Astro Weather. Okay, let's dial up now. Okay. Share screen. There we go. And we'll make it a tad bigger for everybody. And we'll zoom in. All right, so here we go. We are in Grand Trine territory. We've got the Scorpio moon, balsamic. Yes, it looks like a scimitar in the night sky as it begins to get darker and darker and becomes occulted by the sun. The sun is swallowing the moon. That's what's going on here. But we do have the beginning of a Grand Trine with the moon, Saturn, Neptune, Jupiter. That means you should plug into your instincts. There's not a lot abating the moon right now. And I would say, yes, you can use your intellect. Mercury's in Sagittarius. It's a very different operating system than the moon in Scorpio. So underlying everything, right? Like the moon is behind the sun. Mars is out front. We got Mars in Capricorn at 0 degrees. Keep your head down. Keep pushing through. But I would also, I would warn against overwork. And that's just been going on for a while with that Mars-Neptune square. But when Mars goes into Capricorn at the 0 degree, it is definitely driven, right? Just don't drive too hard. But getting back to the moon, this is a very different operating system. And this is a day where your decisions theoretically should be guided by your gut. And what's interesting is that we've had Uranus on Algol, and it's about 2 degrees off, but still on Algol. And we had 2 major stabbing deaths. One occurred in Florida. Of course, the other one with much bigger news is Rob Reiner and his wife, who were stabbed by his son, by their son. And then the coach from Michigan was almost going to end his life by stabbing himself in the throat, cutting his throat the other night because his coaching career was over. I wonder if Michigan will sue him for back pay or something. Like, this could be merciless for Sharon Moore. Anyway, it's that Uranus, Taurus, which has been, again, trending backwards towards Algol. It's like, yeah, knife central. And part of a yod, as it were, right now, with the sun at 24 Sagittarius, and we have Jupiter at 23 Cancer, Uranus. We have a nice Uranus-Jupiter sextile, but they're both operating in retrograde. Those are sextiles that are good for improvisation, and you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants. The retrograde is making use of things that are already there, right? You don't have to go out and find something new. Jupiter Cancer, especially retrograde, is really big on recycling. So look around your environment, and you could even use this as far as, like, if you want to give a gift to somebody and you're a little crafty, right? Like, you can find something around your place that looks kind of interesting. And if you have any kind of artistic ability, maybe you can do something with it. It's like, oh yeah. Like when I shot the intro to the show today, I did it specifically with the idea that I could probably use it as an intro. And so, retrograde, I went back to it and, put it together with the music, and then there you go. Right? Jupiter, Uranus sextile in action. And let me improv a little bit with the beginning of the show. And that's kind of a template. Look around at things that you have. A lot of people have pictures on their phones, and you can frame them. I'll tell you what else you can do. And I don't know what the turnaround time is, but this would be great with the inconjunct with the sun, is you can actually create books. And again, I don't know the turnaround time. What are we, the 16th? You might be able to get an 8-day turnaround time where you can arrange the pictures and the type. I think Apple has that application. And I have one of those books. And it was put together at that time by my son's mother. We were married, and it's got all these early pictures of all of us as a family. And that's what I'm talking about with the, if this is just one application, it's like, let nothing go to waste. And the sun, of course, is conjunct Juno, which is creating something new and being inspired. So that's what I think this yod is about. Now, if you make it about you and standing out like a sore thumb and demanding that everybody believe what you believe and what your story is, you might have a bit more difficulty with that. That's when we run into the Saturn-Neptune square. Now, let's talk about, because I am going to talk about this Bondi Beach thing that happened in Australia. People just are not falling for the same tactical theater. And I talked about this before, and Joan had sent me a clip on this young woman who had put it together in a very articulate way. And it has to do with these synchronicities and how these synchronicities tend to be getting closer and closer together, and how it's taking us less time to figure them out. And of course, sort of the milestone was 9/11. And I've talked about this before. It took people close to a decade or more to finally have the gumption and courage to talk about 9/11. That's how deep the shock and trauma went. Then COVID comes along, and it takes people about 2 years to finally dig into COVID and, say and do what should have been done 2 years prior to that. So now we have these other events, and it doesn't take long. We're down to weeks and days now, and that is something, right? That is something. That means that the ritual theater that they've had a hold on for a very long time is drawing to a close. And that's one of the reasons why AI has been empowered at this time, because AI at least gives them, and I say them, we'll call them the social engineers. It gives them the ability to buy some time and to trick people and to get people to believe something that might be true but isn't true, or has a slight grain of truth in it, enough so that it's a hook. But when you look at it in its totality, it's completely fake, right? It's fake. So we have that with these squares: Sun Neptune square, Sun Saturn square, Mars Saturn square, Mars Neptune square. And it's really running headlong into the illusion, but spending enough grind time to understand that that's what we're dealing with. And I really like the trine here to Chiron, lonely Chiron in Aries. And this is where the individual begins to awaken. And it's in the third decan or decan, which puts it in the Sagittarius decan, which is all about higher consciousness, philosophy, religion, law, etc. And people are just not buying into the company story anymore. And I feel like if we were just to use this grand trine with the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, it's people understanding at a deep level that reality, or so-called reality, stinks. And it's manufactured and has been manufactured on many levels, the most benign being things like TV and commercials, to actual staged events. So stick with your instincts, people. And I mean, it goes beyond that. Which road should I take? Well, maybe I should take this road today. Or maybe I need to go to this store today. Or maybe I need to, go hang out at the local cafe for 45 minutes. So trust your instincts today. They're really, really good. Also, I don't think Mercury is too far afield from here. It's still by degree in trine with Saturn and Neptune, even though it's in Sagittarius. I would hold off on having the big conversation, though. I would wait until Mercury moves past the sun. I think it's a good time to listen and file things away for future reference and wisdom in general. Let's see, we get the Pluto-Jupiter opposition. I just don't think I see that as spending. And I don't think this is going to be a great holiday season for retailers in general. People are just not, they may be in a festive mood, but they're not in a spending mood. Although when it comes to JJ's website, you should definitely spend. Okay. Let's get into our True Hemp Science star. Now, I know I've done this guy before, because there's no way that I wouldn't have him on here. But he's a giant. He's an absolute giant. And it's Philip K. Dick. Let's get the old banner out, because now we get to talk a little bit about True Hemp Science and also the chart of Philip K. Dick. So I think Philip K. Dick would have appreciated CBD. I think the old Delta 9 would have been right up Philip K. Dick's alley. So, of course, I have some True Hemp Science. The Moonlight Gummy. These are your friends. If you want sustained long-term CBD in your system, Lumina is great. Maybe I'll take a little drop this morning. Let me see. Look at that nice amber golden color. Look at that. Beautiful right there. It's a work of art. One at a time. Here we go. You want some peachy? You would not like this. You would not like it. She ran away. She heard me. She said, I'm not into it. Anyway, True Hemp Science. You can taste the power of the hemp in this. Man. And once it gets in and starts to saturate your cells, you hit that reset button. So it's only the best ingredients, organically grown and sourced, hemp produced right here in Texas. And if you go there now, truehempscience.com, you can be a member of the First Time Buyers Club and get 20% off. Type in 15MINS when you check out. What do you get? You get a goodie bag on top of your order. So if you haven't tried truehempscience.com and the hemp products, especially the sleep gummies, which make your life a whole lot better post 9 p.m., check them out. Tell them Robert Phoenix sent you if you get somebody on the phone, and they'll hook you up. All right. Philip K. Dick, let's get into it. He's a crazy motherfucker. He's an Aries rising. And you can see this, right? He's got that kind of broad forehead. You'll see this with Aries rising people. They generally have receding hairlines and broad foreheads. Like, or Aries people or Aries rising, you'll see that with them. Like Vince Vaughn is an Aries. He's got that big forebrain, right? Who else? Peyton Manning, Aries, got that big forehead. So Phil K. Dick has it too. Sign of intelligence as well, or so we've been told. But he's unmanageable. You can't manage this guy. He's going to be a free fucking spirit. Uranus and Aries. And not only that, but I mean, this is how he deals with the world. The world, you know, when I lived in California, my chart was relocated with Uranus on my ascendant. So I lived with that for 52 years of my life, basically. 40. I mean, we moved there when I was 4, so about 48 years of my life, I lived with Uranus and Leo relocated on my ascendant. I loved it. It was great, especially during my adolescent years. You want to rebel, have Uranus on your ascendant. Makes it a whole lot easier. You don't have to try very hard. But it also invokes high strange and synchronicities. And I think Philip K. Dick, more than almost anybody outside of Robert Anton Wilson, was aware of that. He would also have Eris in his first house, probably somewhere right around here. So he would also be kind of an agent of discordia as well. I didn't put that in the chart. But he's got a sun square to Uranus because he's kind of at the end degree. His sun is conjunct the galactic center. So, you know, we tend to think of the galactic center as being like one sort of broad transmission. But what if it was like cable TV and there were hundreds of thousands of micro transmissions in the broad spectrum that is produced by the blast of neutrinos coming out of the galactic center? And what if Phil was able to like hone in on one bandwidth and one frequency, which would guide his work? I don't think it would be impossible for him to do something like that. And the guy was absolutely prolific, right? Mars in Cancer. I have my Mars is right around that degree. And he's got it in the fourth house. I don't think Phil was easy to live with. He was not easy to live with Mars in that fourth house. And he's got the Mars Jupiter sextile, so being productive. He would write in spurts. I can tell you that right now. He would write, and he would stop. And I don't even know anything about his writing schedule. I can just tell you this by his chart. He'd write, and stop. Write, and stop. Write, and stop. And he was also, I think he was a very unfaithful person. Like, the lack of fidelity is prominent in his chart. Venus square Jupiter, Moon square Jupiter, all in the 11th house. So he's going to meet people. He's going to have a big social network, and he's not going to be very faithful. Now, was there consummation, physical consummation of some of these liaisons? Not always with Aquarius. Sometimes it's a friendship. It's a very deep, soulful friendship. With Mars, however, I think he would try to consummate it because Jupiter would bring him into the body. And what's really interesting too? It's like when he has the pink light moment where this gal, I think she has like a fish pendant, like a Christian fish pendant, and she brings him drugs from the dentist because he had dental work. And I think she worked for a pharmacy. And so a ray of sunlight, maybe it's a beam from the galactic center, hits the fish. And then that's when Dick gets the download, right? He gets the download for a majority of his work. And I think it's interesting that it came as a result of the dental work. And of course, Aries rules the head and the teeth. But he's got this grand trine. He's got Neptune in the 6th house. Unless you're, using it as perhaps an orderly, or in his case, trining both the Sun and Mercury, which for writing is exceptional. And he was a very prolific writer. Now we're getting into that Sun Mercury trine as well. And you can see his writing, in the 9th house is publishing. This guy fucking worked hard. He's a real kind of paradox, isn't he? He's an enigma. This is a guy who was, I think, firmly steeped in the drug culture, was not afraid of hallucinogens or things that could alter his consciousness. Wasn't afraid of them at all. But at the same time, he was also driven. And I think you get that with that Mercury-Saturn conjunction. And he didn't live very long. I think he died in his 50s. He died right after Blade Runner came out. I think Blade Runner came out, 1979 or 80? Am I right? When did Phil die? He died in 82. He was 53. 53. That's pretty young. And I have this theory about people who are very prolific and they don't live long. And I can give you numerous examples of really prolific artists that leave, like Prince. Look at Prince. Prince passed away young. He was prolific. Huge body of work. And I'm not sure we've uncovered all of it. So that's when it comes to Philip K. Dick, I feel like that's the part that's driven, right? You can see it in the chart. And that Mercury-Neptune trine is great for fiction. really great for fiction. I mean, I think that this chart is emblematic of a writer, scientist, not scientist, writer, metaphysician, rebel, revolutionary figure. Philip K. Dick's literature is revolutionary. It's changed the way that we look at things. The ideas that were seeded by Blade Runner are huge. They're huge, and they're starting to come into fruition. And even something like Minority Report, which is all about pre-crime, that's a Philip K. Dick idea, right? And looking into the future and in this fascist totalitarian state. So he's a really interesting character. And if there is a chart that is emblematic of a man's life, it is this. Nobody told Phil what to do. Every now and then he could fall under the spell of influence. But at the end of the day, he was his own Lone Ranger. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of today's Astro Weather. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative and interesting. If you did, hit the like. And if you'd like to subscribe and get updates, we do this Tuesday through Thursday. Friday, we have the Friday Forecast. Sunday, we did about a 2-hour, 15-minute show. It looks like Candace and Erica Kirk smoked the peace pipe. 4.5 hours. Wow. I would have loved a bit of fly on that wall. That's for damn sure. I think they needed to play a little Ebony and Ivory with Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder just as they were leaving, right? Send them off with a little bit of female and ideological and racial harmony. There you go. All right. Use your head in order to discern through your heart. Say what's possible. I'm Robert Phoenix. Have yourself a blessed day and or night, wherever you may be. And we'll see you back here tomorrow with the Astro Weather. Bye for now.